It's not bad. It's comfortable. Reasonably, it's a lot lighter since it's not designed to protect you outside of the vehicle. It doesn't have to have a lot of the features that our shuttle launch escape suit has.
The suit has a wholly different total purpose than our suits, in that it is primarily a pressure suit as opposed to also a survival suit. So there are going to be some design differences. We get into it differently. In this suit, you get in literally through the stomach. That's called the appendix. And in the LES in the U.S., we get into the back. And, of course, our LES is a standard military survival suit. So there's different approaches. They have basically same protection against pressure at high altitude, but the overall missions are slightly different, and that's reflected in the designs. So far, it's been comfortable. I don't have my own suit yet, but they've taken detailed measurements, and I predict that'll be comfortable.
Landing a man on the moon and returning in safety to the Earth.
Main engine start.
Right away, Houston.
Getting the command seat?
Nope. Oh, well, probably see you better from that seat over there. Okay, that's the foldable antenna. Some kind of case up there. Maybe that is the. That's it.
That's the camera, isn't it?
No, but what is this?
Well, it looks like that thing is just a lens, and it goes back into the body.
Oh, really? That's not the. Where's the gas analyzer?
Maybe it's and that says Osmolny there. And that's the reserve right there.
Yeah, those are just ventilators and two fans and bells.
Which mechanism has the baffles in it? I would just connect them. Right now it's T, close.
About what? About the fact that the fan keeps cycling off and I have to restart it? Isn't this supposed to be on 2? 3 ohmic? You have to cover. Guess what?
What?
Take that back. Not anymore.
Landing a man on the moon and returning in safety to the Earth.
Main engine start.
Right away, Houston.
give in them?
Mm-hmm. As long as the pin's engaging both sides.
But these are the things that push the
Push it.
progress of the Soyuz away when those open up. And
Yeah.
on the station, only one of these is active. One of them is stationary.
And-
Most likely.
And go back.
Okay.
Landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. Main engine start.
Right away, Houston.
Let me start generally and ask you about your Mir mission. What are the objectives of this mission?
The Mir mission objectives from a science standpoint are primarily for the study of the effects of zero gravity on human beings for over long durations. We don't have, as you know, opportunities to fly a lot of long duration missions. This will be the first one in about 20 years, 3 months in duration, and we hope to learn more about things like the effects of zero-G on the heart, deconditioning of the muscles, and also loss of mineral from bones. So that'll be the emphasis of the American program on the Mir.
You are in a classically unique position, though. There are far many other aspects to this. How do you see those ramifications of this mission?
I think one of the things that attracted me most about this mission was the fact that it would be an opportunity to participate in another program. I've flown 4 flights on shuttle now, and it'll never be routine to fly a flight on a shuttle, but on the other hand, to have a unique opportunity to actually come to Star City, train as a cosmonaut might, and then actually fly up on a Soyuz, a Russian rocket, to the Mir station, had a lot of appeal to me.
Well, you've been here now for almost a year, haven't you?
We've been here now almost 7 months, and we're still about 5.5 months from the launch.
How's the time here affected you? What's it been like training in Russia?
Training here in Star City, I think, is one of our party early on put it as like training in a monastery. We're isolated out here. We're at least an hour and 15 minutes from anywhere that you would go in Moscow. There are no English language television broadcast here. There are no newspapers here, no video rentals. So we spend most of our time studying the technical material in Russian. So it's probably just as well that there aren't a lot of distractions, because since this is not our native language, you can understand that we necessarily spend a lot of time studying and trying to learn these rocket systems, space systems in the Russian language.
What's the most difficult aspect of training in Russia?
The most difficult aspect of training from a technical standpoint is the language, no question about it. I'm feeling pretty comfortable now. It's getting better all the time, but nonetheless, that's the biggest barrier. That's from the technical standpoint. From the ordinary human considerations, I would say it is the isolation and the fact that we're a long way from home.
And let me ask you the other side of that. What's the easiest? What's the most fun?
The easiest has been to find that there are more similarities between cosmonauts and astronauts than there are differences. From a professional standpoint, it has been virtually like training in Houston, except for the fact that everything is conducted in the Russian language.
Let me get you, if you would, to take us through the Soyuz spacecraft and explain to me, or give me your impressions of that vehicle.
My first impression of the Soyuz spacecraft, as would be anyone's impression if they saw it first, especially the Spускamy Apparat, which is Russian for the launch and entry module of the vehicle, is small. It's very small. There are 3 people that fit inside a space a volume that I think is like 3.5 cubic meters. So it's very, very small. But then I know, on the other hand, that it's a very reliable system. So from the standpoint of, do I worry unduly about flying on it? No. It's at least as safe as a shuttle. It has a many-year history behind it. So you start out in this little small lower part of the vehicle, which seats the 3 cosmonauts on ascent and entry. And then above that is a volume called the Bытовой отсек, or actually HAB module, habitation module, living module, which has about twice the volume as the entry capsule does, and that's where you spend most of your time on orbit. So major impression is one of small size, but I'm also impressed that it's a very reliable system. In forming my opinion of the Soyuz, it's inevitable to compare it with the shuttle, on which I've flown 4 times. The main thing that I have to keep in mind is that Soyuz was designed primarily to carry the cosmonauts to and from space, and lately, of course, to and from the Mir station. It's only designed to support the cosmonauts for a period before docking with the Mir station of about 2.2 days, and only another day or 2 after undocking for return. The shuttle, on the other hand, is a vehicle that we use for research, for various things, transporting things to and from orbit. So it's a more multifaceted vehicle, and of course significantly larger. But the Soyuz, I'm convinced that for the job for which it was intended, it does very well.
What are your impressions of the Mir space station? I guess from the very small you go to the very large.
The Mir station does have a lot of volume to it. It's got 4 different modules these days. While I'm up there, perhaps there'll be yet a 5th module added, and then, of course, later on a 6th module. It is a multi-purpose vehicle. It's designed to support space flight with humans aboard over a period of many years, and I think it's already been up there 7 or 8 years, at least the original module has been. So my impression is of a lot of room, a lot of places to go, a lot of things to do. Because it is 0G and because the modules sort of radiate out in all directions from a central point, it's actually fairly easy to become disoriented and go the wrong way in the Mir station.
At this point in your training, do you feel like a cosmonaut, an astronaut, something in between? Where are you in your professional training existence?
Because of the short time period for preparation, only about a year or so, we are having to combine what we would normally do in 2 or 3 years in our own program. Since, although we're experienced astronauts, we still have never actually received specific training on the Soyuz or on the Mir station. So we're having to do that along with doing the specific flight training. And again, normally you would get all of the background training for Soyuz and Mir in the year or so of candidacy. And then once you were assigned a flight, you'd get another year or so to train for that flight. So I don't know that I feel like both a cosmonaut and an astronaut, and maybe a little like neither, but I also feel a bit like an astronaut candidate all over again, since I'm doing the same sorts of things that I had to do in the first year when I came aboard NASA.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have to ask you. Do you have anything to tell me I haven't asked you?
The only thing I would add is, from a personal standpoint, I see this as a tremendous personal experience, and from the standpoint of the history of space flight with humans, I think that it's an idea whose time has come. I think with the growing expense of doing most anything, but especially things that involve space flight, we need to do things cooperatively, and I'm really happy to see that we're going to take advantages of the best of the American program and the Russian program in the future.
safety to the surface. Main engine start.
Right away, here, sir.
Well, let me ask you first to give me your impressions of the hardware. Let's start with the Soyuz. What do you think about that spacecraft?
Well, the Soyuz is a proven piece of hardware for over the last generations of it, over the last 30 years, going back to Vostok. And so the Russians have taken a concept that has worked for them and made some gradual upgrades to it. If you take it strictly on the plane of measuring in the current time, it's going to seem rather old technology, and a lot of it is. But for them, it has been a very reliable transportation vehicle.
And the Mir space station?
Well, the Mir space station is 8 years old. It's actually kept running beyond its original lifetime, and they've learned a lot about how to repair equipment, what the lifetime on various subsystems are, when to replace them, and that's a great deal of information that will supplement what we learned on Skylab, where we only had our longest mission of 84 days. So that kind of partnership and information will be valuable for both of us, I think. Our bringing to the table a lot of new technology along with the Europeans, the Japanese, and the Canadians with their experience in flight.
What have been the particular complexities or challenges of training for space flight in Russia?
I think for me the largest by far challenge has been the language. As an engineer and as an astronaut, I've flown before. I've worked on space systems. I was a flight controller on Skylab reentry. I was an engineer building the shuttle. I've worked in aerospace for a very long time. So the principles and the technology, it's not been the challenge. It's been doing it all in Russian.
Would that qualify as the most difficult thing you've had to deal with?
I would say by far the most difficult thing has been trying to train and to operate in a foreign language such as Russian.
Well, what's on the other side of that? What's been the most fun or the easiest?
Well, I've always enjoyed being out doing things rather than necessarily being in the classroom just listening to lectures. So for me the most fun has been the survival exercises, been operating in the trainers, looking at operational approaches, which by the way are very similar most of the time to our approaches, just getting hands-on.
Is it difficult being so far away from home for so long? That's a loaded question. Let me rephrase that. What are the challenges of being so far away from home for so long?
Well, for I think us, the first challenge was communications. Operating with a phone system that would work, being able to operate on a day-to-day basis, because we are not autonomous here. We are part of a much larger program. It was important getting information back and forth. So that was the first initial challenge. And of course, the rest of it is just being so far away in a different culture, trying to understand that culture, trying to live within it, and also to be able to maintain contact with your family back in the United States.
Could you explain to me what the objectives are of this particular Mir mission?
Well, there are many official objectives which the program can probably explain better than I can, but to summarize, we have, as part of our quid pro quo agreement, the objective of flying a U.S. astronaut on board the Mir space station, just as we've flown U.S. astronauts we've flown Russian cosmonauts on board the shuttle, and we'll be flying the second one next year. Beyond that, though, we have a science program, we have a technology program, we have an interest in understanding how to do joint operations before we actually start building a station with the Russians as partners, with our other partners.
Do you, at this point in your training, feel like a cosmonaut, an astronaut, a combination of both?
I think that's just a terminology that means the same thing. People have flown in space. I'm an astronaut. Cosmonauts are people who have flown in space for Russia. Right now I feel like I'm in basic training in the Russian cosmonaut program, because this is what they normally give all their beginner cosmonauts. And so all the homework and the studying and the exams is something I've had to retrain my brain for. But I'm still what I am.
What sort of advice would you have for the other U.S. astronauts who are going to follow you to Star City?
Well, I think that the advice I would have is advice that's already being implemented, because we do communicate daily with our people back there. That is, come in with good language skills, come in with as much foreknowledge as you can on how the program works, with knowledge about how the culture operates, what is meant by certain actions, by certain ways of putting things so that we can start operating more consistently. Other than that, I think it's probably going to be one of the most challenging things and gratifying things they'll have ever done.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all I have to ask you. Do you have anything to tell me that I haven't asked you?
Well, let's see. Except that I am very pleased with my cosmonaut backup crew. As you know, I'm backing Norm up should anything happen to him.
Has that caused you any difficulties in working in a backup role so far away? So this, so that?
Not really, except that sometimes you have to keep reminding people to train you seriously, because there is always the possibility you might have to fly, and that I have to be ready. I have to know the material. With my Russian cosmonaut crew, I don't have to worry about that. Anatoly Solyev, who will be flying again, he's an experienced cosmonaut, and first-time flyer Nikolai Budarin are both excellent professionals, and we work well together. I'm looking forward to really getting in the trainer with them.
Landing a man on the moon, 8, returning in safety to the Earth. Main engine start.
Right away, here, sir.
Сам набирай.
Это Дельта В, да? То есть тогда будет работать... Подожди, не убирай, не убирай.
Так, не контролируем. Брус. Исполняем. Так, 5-й Дельта.
Я летал, когда модулей не было.
Landing a man on the moon, 8, returning in safety to the Earth. Main engine start.
Right away, here, sir.
Eso
по-прежнему на мире, хотя и не закончился?
Да, да.
Был год назад, я его своими глазами...
He says, I was there a year ago.
This? I've seen doing this.
Ну как,
No.
оставить случайно? Ну не случайно, все правильно, договориться с ними.
30.
Холодно?
One?
One. Oh, duh. Да.
Но мы будем сколько? 5 minutes?
5?
Right? Okay.
5? Yeah, today. Okay. Gary.
Seemed like
You'll take 2 normal breaths, 2 normal,
нормально.
and then clamp low, so 30 millimeters, и 5 назад секунд. Я буду...
I remember.
Да, спасибо. Then release and also do it. Okay.
Ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Всегда
1, 2, and then up.
Нормально? Я считаю, что вы прекрасно делаете. В будущем вооружении Я сам-то не должен. Я только в качестве...
Well,
Есть? А назад как ты возвратился?
No, Jimmy.
Джимми?
Sledhill.
Ну, мы вчера делали нормально.
I don't want to waste
Тогда мы сейчас... Тогда мы сейчас пойдем заниматься. Bonnie, exactly.
Точно.
Точно.
You are right.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Спасибо вам.
Перечень тех процедур, которые войдут в тренировочные занятия. Во время этих занятий.
By way of quick introductions, my name is Dr. Mike Barrett. I and Dr. David Ward, whom you already know, will be the U.S. crew physicians for Mir-18.
Представил себя и доктора
Barrett, Ward.
Barrett и Ward.
And we will be working within their system during the flight. We will be working within their system during the flight.
Ага, значит, работа будет соблюдаться в рамках их рекомендаций. Занятия будут проходить неформальный, не будут носить формальный характер.
So questions are welcome.
Так что вопросы, любыми вопросами обращайтесь. Начнем с ознакомления содержимого пакета. И содержимое, компоновка каждого пакета специально связанная с программой Shuttle.
The entire kit consists of the 3 packs, which you see here. And to scan, you pinch both buttons here, and you'll see a very light laser scanner.
Надавив на кнопку, лазерный луч направляется на соответствующую маркировку на контейнере.
And you scan as I did over the barcode here.
My name is John Charles. This is Odeyente.
Постановка ОДНТ.
I will be demonstrating for you today the first kind of LVNP test that we will be asking you to participate in.
Будет отличаться и по времени займет меньше времени, чем это займет на борту.
The LVNP device is the same type that was used on the Skylab space station in the early 1970s. We will be using a computer to control the decompression levels of the LVNP device today.
Контроль декомпрессии будет осуществляться с помощью компьютера, который подключен к этой установке.
And also we will
Внутренняя часть установки.
This is a strain gauge which we use to monitor changes in circumference of the calf.
Это устройство предназначено для регистрации изменений окружности объема голени. Ортостатическая устойчивость, она проверяется у вас. Это блок памяти.
No, that's just, yes, right, that's right, for trends.
Ага, это в качестве такого опорных данных.
Ну давайте сверим, пускай накачает.
We get the anchor pressure
But
here.
she's not done it yet. This will be after.
Эти данные.
Давайте.
No, the measurements taken by hand with this.
Yeah, she'll be telling the doctor.
Сравним с этим.
So you can translate whatever she calls out, okay?
Yes.
the decompression on that right now is the maximum we'll apply in space.
Тот уровень декомпрессии, в котором он сейчас
располагается параллельно мышечным волокнам.
То есть по картинке вы можете видеть направление мышц.
То же самое, это икроножный, да, Саша?
Где? Это тебе перейти
Comes across. See it. So this runs this way. You can see the brake.
Видишь, здесь она у него яркий сигнал.
Okay, so the last issue that ties in with this orientation is this idea.
Последнее, что касается
На ноге
muscle.
и на плече можно ошибиться.
But here, what we're talking about,
Here and here.
yeah, the crosstalk
Pay
is
attention. Yeah.
very possible.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is have each of you take a turn applying, go ahead,
Я
one
хочу,
Mexican
чтобы
dive,
так
applying
сказать,
some
стали в очередь
upgrades.
и для визуального облегчения. Не, а он занимается сейчас только стерилизацией. Вот, he says, you have to feel them come on.
Okay, that's what the green was.
The same place.
So now, we found it's easier to apply the tape first.
Ну, мы говорит, разработали, так сказать, практика наша показала, что сперва ленты хорошо закрепить. And then you apply, так, чтобы убедиться, что плотный контакт.
А вот еще у нас эта штука есть. А это для ТВ.
Very good. Okay. So, any questions about that?
Есть вопросы у вас, Геннадий?
Нет вопросов.
No question.
Волокон, да. Дело в том, что рисунок здесь не показывает направление.
The picture doesn't indicate the direction. Yeah,
Вот здесь хорошо видно.